Okay, we're going to be taking a look at place value today. And when we talk about place value, there's a lot of words that we need to know. And two very important words are compose and decompose. Compose, you are getting sets of objects and you're joining them to make a bigger group. So other words that you can think about when you're thinking of the word compose is join, put together, combine, and gather. Just like when you're adding objects together, you're composing them, you're putting them together. Another one is decompose. And decompose is the opposite. So when you think about when you're subtracting, you're decomposing those numbers. That's sets of objects that can be broken into smaller sets or subsets. Other words for decompose are separate, take apart, and break apart. So compose, put together, decompose, take apart. When we're looking at place value, there's different ways that we can represent the same number. One is a concrete model, and all that means is using your place value blocks. So you all are very familiar with these, the hundreds and the thousands and the ones, the tens. This is your concrete models that sometimes you'll use in class. Okay, let me go back to that screen. Your pictorial model is any picture that you draw to represent that number. So when you're talking about numbers that go up to 10,000s or 100,000s, a lot of times you have to just draw the 3D boxes for that because we don't have the concrete model. Our concrete models go up to 1,000. Then we have expanded form, standard form, and expanded notation. Now, a lot of times we get confused between expanded form and expanded notation. Both of those decompose the number. Remember, decompose means that you break it apart. But with expanded form, you're just putting the value of each number. So this number is 1,000 plus 3, which will give you 1,003. It's expanding it. It's decomposing the number. Expanded notation is actually putting the number times the value of that number. So you had 1,000 times 1, or 1 times 1,000, plus 3 times 1. In the ones place, you have a 3. You multiply it by 1 because there's a 1 in the ones place. I'm sorry, I said that backwards. You multiply it by 1 because there's a 3 in the ones place. 1 represents a place value. And then here you have 1 times 1,000. There's a 1 in the thousands place, so you multiply that by 1,000. Standard form is just the number. It's just written in standard form. They're putting it together. Okay. So here it is. Here's just a quick anchor chart. Place value is a value of a digit depending on its place in a number. So you've all seen the little place value houses. That just kind of helps you keep track of where to put the number and the value of it. There's standard form. Expanded form shows the value of each digit. Word or written form, that's in words, and this one didn't have that. You also can show it in written form, and that just means you're spelling it out. And then you have expanded notation, like we just reviewed. That's the sum of each digit multiplied by its value. Remember, sum is the answer to an addition problem. If you're ever writing your numbers in expanded notation and expanded form, and you want to double check to see if you're right, what you can do is just line up those numbers in the correct place value and add them up, and that will give you your standard form. Okay, and then, so let's look at some examples, a couple of examples. So here's our first one. Okay, this one says, what number shows the sum of 8 10,000s plus 5 hundreds plus 6 ones plus 2 ones? So there's an word here that's very important, the sum. And what does sum mean? the answer to an addition problem. So I'm just going to put that there so I don't forget. A lot of times these place value questions will be written in this way, and you'll have to know what those words mean. And we always need to know that sum is the answer to an addition problem. Whenever we have a place value question, it's very important that you use a place value chart. If you don't have one, or if the problem doesn't give you one, you have to know how to make one. So let's go ahead and make one. So we have, and place value charts can be made different ways. Just like you saw the little houses in the other screen, you can do little houses, you can do little boxes, you can even do just basic lines. So you can do ones, tens, hundreds, and then what goes here? Our comma. Ones, tens, hundreds, a comma. Next would be thousands, 10,000s, and 100,000s. And in third grade, we just go up to 100,000s. Later on in fourth and fifth grade, you'll keep going even higher than that. But in third grade, this is where we stop. Okay, so we have a place value chart. And this is so important because a lot of times it can get tricky and we lose track of what numbers go where. So it's really important that we have our place value chart with us. Okay, so let's go ahead and put our numbers where they belong. So, and I always like to start with the least value, which is the ones place, but you don't have to. It's up to what you like best. So how many ones does it say we have? 2 ones. So I'm going to put a 2 right there. And I like to just kind of either put a check by it or cross it out. It just helps me keep track that I already put it in my chart, so I don't have to count it again. Then we have tens is next. We have 6 tens. Hundreds, there's 5. Okay, do we have any thousands? We don't have any thousands. So what do you think that means? What do you think that means? What do you think we have to put there? That's right, we have to put a 0. If there's nothing there, if it doesn't tell you, that means that there's a 0 there. Okay, 10,000s. We have 8 10,000s. And then there are no 100,000s in this number. Okay, so that's our number, 80,562. Now remember, when you're reading numbers, when you see this comma there, it doesn't mean you say and. A lot of people, even adults, they say 80,562. No, you only say and if there's a decimal point. For example, in money, you do say and. But when you have a comma, when you're reading numbers, you never say and. Only when there's a decimal point. So remember, this said sum, and there's plus signs here in between each place value. They want you to compose that number. Remember, compose means to join, and that means to put together, to add it. That's why it says sum, because it wants you to add those numbers together, to compose them, to join them. And that's what we did using our place value chart. So our number was 80,562. Okay, that's our first example. We're going to do one more example. Okay. This one says, Jason recorded a number with 2 5s. The value of the first 5 is 50,000. The value of the second 5 is 500, which could be Jason's number. So he recorded a number. Now, recorded is a multiple meaning word. Record can mean that you're recording your voice, like I'm doing now, or it could just mean when you're writing. In math and science, if somebody records something, they're usually writing in their journal or somewhere. The value of the first 5 is 50,000. The value of the second 5 is 500, which could be Jason's number. Now, I think it's important to stop and talk about the difference between value and place value, because a lot of us get confused with those 2 words. So if I'm thinking of the number 20, for example, and I want you to tell me the value of this 2, what would that be? Okay, this is in the ones place, right? This is in the tens place. The value of that 2 is 20. The place value is the tens place. So those two things are very different. Value means they want to know the worth of it, the value of it. Place value, they want to know where it is in your place value chart. So this is saying the value. That's why it's telling you the value of the first 5 should be this. The value of the second 5 should be this. So again, we're going to make our little place value chart. Okay, let me get just another piece of paper to put on top. So I know, I'm gonna go ahead and put my little chart down here just like we did. And remember, your chart doesn't have to be just like mine. If you prefer little houses, you can do that. I just like doing my little lines, but it's whatever's best for you. So we have our ones, tens, hundreds, comma, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. Okay. So it said the value of the first 5 should be 50,000. What place value should that be in? If it was here, that would just be 5, right? Here would be 50. Here would be 500. Here in the thousands, it would be 5,000. In the 10,000s, it would be 50,000. So yep, my 5 should go here. That's where my 5 should go. The place value is 10,000s. The value is 50,000 because it's in the 10,000s place. If it was here, it would be 500,000. Okay. The value of the second 5 is 500. Which one was 500? Let's go back. This would be 5, the ones place. The tens place, 50, 500. So it should be right there. The other 5 should be right there because that one has a value of 500. We don't know what these other numbers are because they didn't tell us. These are the 2 clues that they gave us. So let's look at our answer choices, and we have to find the one that has a 5 in the hundreds place and a 5 in the 10,000s place. This is a good thing to do. Even before you look at your answers, do your work first and then match it up to the correct answer. So let's look at these. Let's look at these 5s. This 5 has a value of 500. So that's correct so far. This 5 has a value of, that's right, 50,000. Oh, so could that be my answer? That could be my answer. I'm gonna put a little question mark here. What about this next one? This 5 has a value of 50,000. Sorry, 500,000. So is that correct? That's already wrong, isn't it? This one has a value of 5,000. So they're both false. Put an X to that one. Okay, what about this one? Let's see. This one has a value of 5,000. This one has a value of 50,000. Incorrect. And then D says not here, so that would be if you show your work in all of them and you can't find your answer, then you would choose not here because you would assume that it's not there. But we know it's there. It's actually right here. A. If you ever think it's not here, you always need to go back and check one more time or a couple times just to make sure. Okay, that was our 2 examples. We will see you next time for some more place value practice.